How's my hair look? Oh, anyway, hey, welcome to the shop. And this is usually where I build transmissions and some motors. But today we're working on a Duh from Beretta's CX4 Storm, the guide rod. Anybody have these issues? You can't find these online anywhere. Brownells, Midway, nobody has them. Everywhere I check, they're out of stock. And I wonder why. Because they're a piece of junk. I almost said a bad word. Anyway, one gentleman's making these on there. They're about, I think they're 80 or 100 bucks or somewhere in that area. And I'm not going to spend that for a $5 piece of rod. So I decided to make my own and show you what I did. All right. When you order your rod, 3/16 is a little bit too small. If you check the size of the plastic that it came with, this will wobble too much on there. This retains a spring, okay? So 7/32 is just right. Well, not quite. It's a little bit tight. You'll have to sand and polish it down is what I do. You can see it slides pretty smooth on there. All right, so another thing to do is when you order the rod, this is how, I'm not telling you to make yours, this is how I made mine. If you want to make one, then you're on your own. I don't want to take no liability for it. This is how I made mine and what I'm putting in my gun. When you order rod, I get at least 13-inch. This way you could cut it in half. If you happen to mess up, you have another rod. If you order it in 12-inch, some of them sell it in. If you mess up, you're going to have to get a whole nother rod again. So go ahead and order an extra inch on the rod, and then to give you a spare piece. Or make one for a buddy, you know what I'm saying? All right, what I did is, like I said, I polished it down, made it so this would slide nice and smooth. And our beautiful camera lady can focus in over here. What I did is I put the rod in the vise, all right? And be careful because your vise will mar it up and you have to buff it out. I put it in the vise. I don't want to tighten too much because this one's finished. And I'm not going to build one online or on this video. I'm just going to show you what I did. You make your own. Turn the torch on. The furthest away that the flame is, the hotter it is. And heat the end of the rod up. Also what I was doing, or you could do it this way. You could heat the end of the rod. Grab a hammer. And heat the end of the rod up to where it's glowing red. Set it down. And pound it. You have to do it half a dozen times. Heat it, pound it. Make sure you're not bending the rod itself, and you'll see how I got it flared out. Camera picking that up okay? All right, so that's flared out. That'll stop that from coming off. Then what you want to do is put your broken piece of junk from Beretta back together, or holding it together, and get the correct length on it. Okay, flare it out, smooth it down, make sure that ride's okay, no spots to hang up. And if I can get these pieces in my hand, you'll see a slot in the back of this. This is where the plastic piece of junk used to go through. It goes in and turns and locks. It's got a slot. One way goes in, and then you'll turn it and lock it so it can't pull through. So take this piece and it's too hard to hold for a man's hands here, and measure it out and see how big this spacing is in here. Now what I did, grab this tool back here, right here, is I took a grinder, air grinder, and I cut a groove all the way around. Actually, this thing set on here pretty good like this. I sat here and I would spin it and let it cut this groove out in here, because this bottom section that once you cut is going to go up inside here. Let's see, I got to line it up correctly like this, and it's going to bottom out on the inside. So that depth, I'd say, is pretty critical. Again, I set it up on here. Once I got my length, flare it out. I'd flare that in first, get it right, come over here, and I rest this on the tool. You may take a grinder, you may have to put it in a vise on a bench, and just use a regular hand grinder and go around it, but this worked for me pretty good. It's got one of these discs, and I set it right there, and I would just spin it like this, and cut a groove in it. I'd cut it to length, And then I sat here and I just cut it out like this, and I wallowed it out. Now it has to be shaped like the original. You'll have to take and cut the sides off of it. Tool, be quiet. It listens. Anyway, okay, you'll have to make this flat and make it just copy the original. That's all you're doing. So first I cut this around, got it, notched that notch the right distance, and then just cut it and made it straight. If you can zoom in on it. See, I just notched it straight. Camera got that okay? Okay, so now what you'll do, once it's notched, it will fit right into the original. Just like so. Turn, you're locked in. Put your spring on, turn it, lock it in, you're good to go. Cost you probably $5. My stuff's ready to go back together. It took me probably an hour, maybe, because I had to polish it out real good and then grind it. I'm saying maybe an hour. I mean, once you've probably done a couple, you can do one probably 15 or 20 minutes. But that's a quick, easy fix. How I'm fixing mine. You can do what you want, but it's real simple. And I believe it'll work better than Beretta's piece of junk. Seeing how they do something like this, they know this is going to break. They know when they make it, this piece of junk is going to mess up. That's telling me, we don't care about our quality. Well, I don't care about buying another Beretta. Let them know that. Better stick with a Glock. Anyway, this is what you guys can do. It's an easy fix. If you need to know anything, just send me a message. Thanks.